No, I'm talking to myself and I'm very sorry. Okay. I'm glad I looked up, Monica. No, it wasn't you. It's me, of course. So I'm gonna just go over all this again with you. I had the mute on. Okay. Okay, awesome. So this front piece, the 6x8, because we've got the cut aparts on the back, we're going to use the front side. And because we need to cover those, we don't want that showing on the back side. That's where we're going to cut into our textured cardstock. And I cut it just a hair over 6 and a hair over 8. So it's 6x8 so that it will completely cover that back side. But we don't glue them together. There's no need to do that. And then it'll just go inside of our 6x8 pocket. Oh, excuse me. I got the yawns again. I'm not bored and tired. Just got the yawns again. And we're going to get all these fun pieces and parts cut. Okay. I have my 6x8. I'm just going to start with this one. And from your petite prints, we're going to cut. This one has kind of a grid on the back, and I used the plaid. And it's 5.5. I know that, and it just reminds. Doesn't that just remind you though of the poodle skirts, the little black and black polka dots on the yellow? I just love it. Now our black piece is going to be 5.5 by 7.25. Nope, 5.5 by 7.5. I knew that. So we're going to make our first cut at 5.5. Oh, thank you. Yes, I had them done this morning because it was time to get rid of the cruise. So I went with the cherries. And 7.5. So that will go right in the center. And we've been cutting it. We cut into this already, but we want 4. These 4 little guys. Now they're 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. So I'm just going to take this whole piece, and you should have it also, and cut 3 3/4. And then we're going to cut 4 2 3/4. Again, that's 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. So I'm going to start with our black petite prints. We're just going to glue that down and center this one on our page. Use your dots. Makes it a lot simpler when trying to keep it straight. I love using dots for that reason. And of course mine, I got it a little crooked, but that's okay. Now, our little squares. I think I cut those too wide. Check my measurements. Okay, well, this is 2 3/4. This is really weird, guys. This is not fitting. Hold on. This doesn't make sense. 5 1/2, 5 1/2. It's 2 3/4 and 2 3/4. Okay, unless I'm really losing my mind here. 5 1/2. Okay, this is the weirdest thing. Something, I'm not kidding, you guys. Oh, yes, I am kidding. Sorry, it's 2 1/2. Oh, goodness. And I thought my brain was back on here, right? So it's 2 1/2. I can't measure. That's the problem. Nothing major. It's 2 1/2 by 3 1/2. Okay, how about I go back and learn to read my ruler? So let's just trim these up. Man, I thought I was really losing my brains there. 2 1/2 by 3 1/2. So sorry about that. But that is an easy fix. Okay, so once again, it's 3 1/2 or 2 1/2 by 3 1/2. Okay, now we're in business. Okay, much better. Aren't those colors so pretty together? So we're just going to place these down so we can get somewhat even spacing. Once you have it, then you can go ahead and start laying them down with your adhesive. Now I'm not so worried about moving things out of the way because we've got our top ones to place the bottom ones. Yes, I sure will, Tian. The did you get the yellow piece that we're taking out of our 6x8 paper pad? So that is our 6x8 paper pad, this yellow front. And then from your petite print, I'm using this side. It's 5.5 by 7.5. And your 4 floral squares from the 12 by 12 piece, they are 2.5 wide by 3.5 long. Okay, when we do all the decorating, this will go on the inside, and I do pop it up. The word "just because" from the banner strip will go across the center. Okay, and that, I know, it just looks so pretty once you get the wording there. We're going to turn this over. It's my original one. There. Oh, you're welcome. And I'm going to go ahead and pop that in the sleeve. And then on the back side. So this is again where I'm going to use the border punch. And I'm trying to see if we've cut any of our plaid yet. If we haven't cut it, then we will come back and it will be, oh, we have, okay. Nope, we have not. We'll do this during our decorating because we'll have some strips. No, we haven't cut into that quite yet. Okay, so this one, you know what I do with my other one? There it is. That's our textured cardstock. And again, I cut it just a little bit longer than 6 and wider than 6 and a little bit longer than 8. And then we're going to want these little guys from our, this came from the 6x8 paper pad. You see they're smaller. Use, oh, maybe they did not. Oh, yes, they did. It's the whole sheet of them. Okay. So I used the floral, not the floral, the stripe, the floral, and this guy. But we can go ahead and cut these apart because we're going to use them all throughout. Trim that glue off. Okay, we're going to trim these apart and up. I'll show you. We're going to cut these. Okay, so let's grab the 3 that we're going to use. And we're going to trim those corners. Get these moved, because if I don't, they'll get stuck somewhere I don't want them. Okay, so basically I just cut these in half, and you can use your cutter, you don't have to use your cutter, but I didn't want a lot of bulk underneath there, so I cut them just about in half. And we'll keep those for something else. And let's get out the yellow from our petite prints. And one side is the grid, and one side is going to be, I think, stripes. No, one side will be floral. This is such a cute one. And we're going to cut this one at 5 3/4 by 6 1/4. No, that's the right one. For a minute, I thought I had the wrong paper. It's 6 1/4. Perfect. Okay. And our white photo mat, that's the one that's going to be 4. Oh, it's a 4 by 4. Okay. All right. We are set to put this all down. So we'll put our yellow down first. Once we get this cut into, we'll take our scrap piece. And my scrap piece was, I know it was over 1. It was 1.5 inches. And then I did my border punch. So it'll also depend on your border punch. You might want yours a little wider. But we'll wait until we cut into that paper. I like to do that and use the scrap that comes off. Instead of, cutting the whole big piece off. Now, say you've got a bunch of extra pictures. You could also pop it on the back here, even though you won't see it, but you could put some more photos on there, because sometimes I know I take a lot of one pose, and sometimes I like them all, but there's not room in your book for all. So what we're going to do is just kind of fan these out to how you guys like it. And then you'll see on the holes is where I'm going to use those cute little enamel flowers. And our little beehive, and then I put an enamel on top of the beehive. And so you want to make sure that you have the holes up at the top. Let's see, using my lines. There we go. I'm going to bring my photo mat about 5/8 of an inch from this edge. Hello, Brian. And we're going to just kind of get things all set how we like it. Just whatever looks good to you. Okay. And then I'm just going to hold it down. Let's just attach them together. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I wanted them to be very 1950s summer. So I didn't want that to move. That's why I'm gluing it down this way. You know, otherwise it just doesn't go down the same. Okay. Get that glue all spread. My 4x4 will go down next. And Wilbur's snoring for us, of course. Okay. Yeah, he is. Can you guys hear him? Oh, he's just something else. This cloth is they're flour sack towels, and you get them on Amazon. You get a huge amount, and I cut them, and then you can just wash them, reuse them. They're really, I just love them because they're a flour sack, so there's absolutely no lint ever. And when you wash them, they do get stringy. You just have to cut the little threads off. Okay, got glue there. So then that's all ready to come back when we're ready to decorate. So let's pop that one in our book, and let's grab our vertical pocket. Now for our vertical pocket, page 7, we have, isn't that cute? We're going to use our Sweet Memories, and then this little guy, when we decorate, he's one of our doodle pops. Okay, so we're looking for, you're wanting the honeycomb. You know what it is, because once you buy them, you buy them. You don't have to, see, they do shred when you wash them, but you just cut that off. I really need to get my serger out and just serge those babies together. So the next thing we want, and I will just take them from here. And we're going to cut these two apart. Okay, we'll save one for later. Now we do need to trim this down because our pocket is 2 7/8 wide. And I believe this is, yeah, this is 3. So I'm going to take just like a 1/16 of an inch off of each side. The honeycomb paper, I got it from the collection. Let me show you which one. It's got the green. It has the green and the floral. Let me show you. It's the Be Happy paper. And we're going to use the honeycomb side. And we're going to cut a 3.5 inch piece. I cut this a little bit longer. Let me double. No, I did 3.5 by 8. This one is directional, so I'll cut it this way if you can see. So we want to go with the direction. And then 8 inches. So I'm just going to take 4 inches off. It just looks taller for some reason. Okay, this one's 3.5 by 8. And we'll bring it back here just to those holes. And then Sweet Memories should fit perfectly right there. Now see, it's this exact same, almost exact same size as our little doodle pop. So we'll be popping him right on there. Now, when we're all finished, you can go back and put your leftover tags inside of our pockets. Okay, when we did the white photo mats, we have the one that we scored in half. Oops, and that's the one we're going to use. If I can find him. There he is. This is the 8 1/4 by 4 1/8 that we scored at 4 1/8 to make it 4 1/8 by 4 1/8. And it's going to go back here. And this is going to be a cute little cut apart. So I want to start though with the floral. And that is the back side of our grid paper. Sometimes I'll cut those bigger. I'm just double checking. Nope, I cut it 6 by 8. I'm just going to take 4 inches off. That was probably not the smartest thing, was it? Did I make sure it was 12? No, I did not. But we're okay. We're good. 6 by 8. Since we have this piece left, I'm going to go ahead and cut it. See, this is when I start using my already cut pieces, and we're going to cut a 3/4. No, we're going to cut a 5/8 of an inch strip. And it's going to be 6 inches wide. And I like to cut it just a hair over 6, and I can trim it. But you know how sometimes you cut it and then all of a sudden it's too short? Yeah, that happens to me often. Okay, let's make some room. Oh, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to let you know, just in case it is a little longer, which I'm hoping it is. Yep. But I want to tell you where I put it, so I can put it down before I put it on the pocket. It's 1 inch from the bottom. Gosh, my numbers are starting to come off. So I'll put it 1 inch from the bottom. And you can trim off if you need to any excess. And this little guy, so let's check the inside. I left this blank. You can use that for journaling spots or just photos with white backgrounds. And we're going to just go ahead and put this down. And I've got about 1/2 inch on the top and the side. Then this pretty little thing will come from our, making sure it's not a sticker. There is one that's, no, this one's not a sticker. It'll come out of our ephemera pack. But we also want to get the 4x4. So we need, and did we already cut those? Let's take a peek in here. No, doesn't look like we did. Or did we? But don't forget, you have 3 other sheets. And oh my gosh, they're hiding from, oh, that's right. It's on our polka dots. Now we did use some, so let me double check. No, we did cut into that one. So you'll have to take it from your second sheet. And I'm just going to cut the 4x4s right off because we're going to use those. And I'm going to use the Sweetest Honey because it matched the border strip at the bottom. So we want to make sure we cut, and it should already measure 4x4. Yeah. I think perfect fit. Okay, remember it goes kind of over to this left-hand side. And about a 1/2 inch from the top and a 1/2 inch on the side. Approximately. Doesn't have to be perfect, of course. That's what's fun about these. And that one is done. So we're done with page 7. And then page 8 has, we've already put that little guy on. We'll have the honeycomb on the inside, that green there. And then we're going to get our 2, well, we'll get those out. Let's go ahead and mat so I don't lose anything, because it will happen. So we're using the piece that we've already cut into. And we want a 4 7/8. Now this is going to be longer. This is the 8 1/4 inch piece, or 8 and it's about an 8. Gosh. Okay, let's try to talk again. 8 1/8, or 8 3/8. So I'm going to cut mine at 8 1/8. So 4 7/8 by 8 1/8. Hi, Jen. And then let's go ahead and cut a strip. So we're going to use the honeycomb on the back side. That is 5/8 of an inch by 8, the same 8 1/8. So 5/8. and 8 1/8. There we go. Okay, first let's check the length to make sure. That's great. We won't cut anything off. No, you don't have to push down. You know, I do push down. But you mean like the caterpillar, huh? No, you just cut. But I have found if you push down a little bit, your blade doesn't do any tearing up of your paper. Oh, no, it's not springy. Now the yellow, it needs the yellow because I did the green on green, which I absolutely love, but the yellow just kind of helps break up all that green. And this is the 5/8 of an inch by 8 1/8. Now, you want to keep it away from that fold, but you want it to be kind of close to it. Now, on the inside, you're going to want another sheet because we're going to use the honeycomb. Come on, guys, where are you? Now, there we go. We're going to watch. Hold on. Sorry, I'm just looking for just double checking. Oh, and we need the green that has the, here, I'll pull it out. Small flowers. I'm just looking at the paper, kind of in my own little world. There it is. It's hiding. So that's our second piece. Okay. Again, we have to remember we're working with directional on the front, but it's 4 7/8. So I turn it over so I make sure, whoops, I'm going the right direction. But I'll use the honeycomb side, 8 1/8. And then let's go ahead. I'm not going to measure from the original one because it depends on where you placed your little door we made. So we need to measure. I always go up here to that embellishment or whatever, the holes or whatever's sticking out. So I'm going to cut this at 5 3/8 by 8 1/8. And this one's not really directional, so I don't worry about checking both sides. And then 8 1/8. And then we're going to take another strip from this, and it's going to be 1 inch, 1¼ inch by 8 1/8. And I'll give you those measurements again here in just a minute. Because then, yeah, we got all of our pieces cut. Okay. So from the honeycomb, it's going to be 4 7/8 by 8 1/8. Mine came out to be 5 3/8 by 8 1/8. But, you know, you can also cut yours, say you're worried, cut it at 5 1/2, or just measure like I did, so you can get that an idea of how wide it needs to be, because it depends on where you glued this down. Then we have 1 1/4 by 8 1/8. And that will sit on the inside there. Okay. I did that over the garbage. Hi, Diane. I know the colors, they're just so refreshing. They're so pretty. Okay, I want to start with our photo mats here on the outside. And I will give you measurements because we got to leave room for this, but so 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 is the black ones. It's hard to see. Oh, that sure is. There's writing on there. So these are going to be 3 by 4. You want 2 of those. And then the inside is a little bit bigger, and that was your 4 by 5. And so the white, if that's 4 by 5, it's going to be 3 3/4 by 4 3/4. Go ahead and measure that one. 3 3/4. 3 3/4 by 4 3/4. I have a 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. So I have a funny feeling maybe no, I did not measure wrong because we need those. 3 1/4. So I will just cut a new one. And I'm going to cut, because we have plenty of white at 3 3/4 by 4 3/4. Okay, let's put those photo mats all together. And then our two smaller ones back to the back. Okay, and that black, it just makes these pop. I just love the black with this. Okay. Let me tie it. So just need to tie it in between. I'm going to measure from the white photo mat to the white photo mat. For our sunshine, you want to leave about, gosh, hold still here, 1 1/4 inch. So if I put it there on the white photo mat, to my white photo mat, you want 1 1/4 in between, so that we have room to put the word sunshine. And there's actually some acrylic beads all over there, so we'll pop those in all over throughout the front cover here when we decorate. I think I'll just put this here. It doesn't have to start at 1. So I want to make sure I put this at 6 1/4. And it can be a little bit more if you want, just so you have room in between there. At least 1 1/4 inch. And you can have a little bit more if you like. See, that's a little bit more. Okay, now on the inside, we need to put down our little strip. And I'm going to put that 5/8 of an inch from the edge of this little flap that we created. So my 5/8 of an inch is about there. So once I have it down, I'm just going to count my flowers. So like 3 rows over for me. Hi, Tomalee. And Tomalee, happy birthday. No, it's I'm sorry, it's Bobby's birthday. Today is Bobby's birthday. But Tomalee, wasn't yours just the other day? Seems like it was. I know Bobby's birthday is today, so she might be out partying. Okay, now that will sit right there. Just leave room so that you can have a little flower. Oh, you're in January. Okay, then it is. It's just Bobby's birthday. So, but I don't think she's with us tonight. Bobby, Tommy, I get you two mixed up. Just kidding. Remember, you want enough room just so that your little flower can sit up there. And by enough room, you want at least 5/8 of an inch or more. Okay, let's turn that one over. And then we'll, do our decorating here in a bit. So we're going to make a cute little pocket, corner pocket, and we're going to use our polka dot. It's a yellow polka dot from your Petite Prints. The pink and yellow, or pink and yellow, yellow and white. Bright one side, and this is the side we're going to use. Then we have the yellow that we've already cut into. Okay, we've already cut into there. And then we do have the green we've already cut into that I use for the front of our pocket. Whoops. And we're going to make the little photo mat with it. So let's cut from the yellow first, 6x8. The yellow, for our mat behind the white is going to be 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 by 3 3/4. 3 3/4 by 4 1/4. Okay, from this little strip, you're going to cut it. You get your measurement here. I cut the tip of mine off, because I made a boo-boo, but I'll show you. So I'm going to cut this at 6 inches, and it doesn't have to be, they don't have to be the exact same size. This one's going to be 3. Mine comes out to be 3 3/4. And it's a tuck pocket, but what we're going to do is, usually I give you a measurement. Well, yeah, let me give you a measurement on the inside. I mean, at the top. So I want you to come in about 1 1/2. Get my pencil, or 1 1/4. It depends. If yours is wider, you can go 1 1/2. I'm going to go 1 1/4. Like I said, it doesn't have to be an exact for these little corner pockets. So I went 1 1/4. If yours is wider than 3 3/4, depending on how you cut yours, go ahead and mark yours at 1 1/2. And when I don't do videos, I just put it in there. And usually cut it to where it looks good. But we just want a little corner tuck. Now see, it's squared off. And I liked it, so I left it. And it will just sit there. We can put our little tags in there. I'll put the yellow 6x8 down first. And the white, so that I'm pretty sure we cut it. That one is a 3. Is it the 3 1/4 by 4 1/4? No, it's not. So I could be wrong. And we may not have cut that. And that's okay because we got lots of white. This one. So I'll cut it 3.5 by 4. I could have swore we cut that. But that's why you get lots of cardstock. Because I usually do miss 1 or 2 or 3. So I'm going to cut 3.5 by 4. So we have that nice pretty yellow border. So before we put that on, I want to do the pocket. So I know where to position this. So it just depends on where you put your pocket. I mean, or how big your pocket is. But I like to just put it on the cardstock and draw it. It might be hard to see. That'll be easier to see. But it has to be reversed. Because remember, of course, it wouldn't matter. You can put it on the non-textured side. And we're just going to draw that pocket out. Let me go ahead and cut that off first. Perfect. Got it. Okay, let's see how much I got to trim off. So I'm going to take it from my straight edge. I'll just take 1/8 of an inch off. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to put him down first. Just the glue along this side, the long side, and the bottom. This one's a little taller than that one. That I did cut that other one off, but I'm going to leave it because it was skinnier than this one. So I left it taller. Okay, then see this little guy, this one's bigger, So you might want to even change the direction on this one. See, this pocket came up higher than this one. So before you put it down, you could also cut it off, but I think I'll just stick it in the pocket a little bit. I like that too. So I guess this one was a little bit skinnier, but where I do the scraps, I should measure more, but I don't. But you might want to cut it off if you don't want it to be that tall up on your page. But that's what's fun about these kind of albums. There's no, if you don't cut it a certain way, you know, it's just going to always fit. That's what's nice. It's kind of like they should call them the 6x8 no rule. That's what I like about it, because there is no rules. Then you can pop your leftover little cards in there. Okay, so page 8 can go back into the book, and it will be ready for decorating. So our next one, page 9. If you remember, we had we cut this from our 6x8 pad. So you will have it, you should have it in your stack here. And you would think it would be easy to find, and it's not. There it is. I have one that's cut and one that's not. That's okay, because we're going to cut it. And then we're going to use this, because this is like a perfect 4x6. And this we just cut from our other page. So let me go ahead and cut this one in half. Or wait a minute, did we already use that one? No, not there. No, we didn't. Okay, so it is down in my zipper pocket. And we're going to pop him on the bottom. And so what I want to do on this little guy, since we have all of our pieces and parts here, and I believe, oh, it's almost, but not quite. So we'll just cut it from here. And if you're working along with me, you should have almost identical pieces. Now we're going to cut it just a hair over 4 so that if we need to trim it, we can. And then my little strip is going to be 1 inch. Just line it up here. And I can tell you, I came in 5/8 of an inch from this left-hand side. That's why I love this mat. You can measure right off of it. Okay, and then if it's too long, just trim that off. And let's go and flip this to the back. Oh, we're going to have to take this one out, but that's okay. So I'm going to flip this one to the back, and we're going to get our little 3x4, and then we're going to have the white. And I thought we cut into that last night, did we? Oh yeah, we did. We cut it. So it's in here. It's in here. And you can either take it from that one, we can take from the 12 by 12 or this little guy. I'm going to take it from this one. You are my honey. Now, I did have to cut this down in order for it to fit. So we're going to take some of the border off. So we want to cut the sides down to 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. So what I do, because it's 3 inches, so I'm just going to take 1/8 of an inch off of every side, all 4 sides. And then you're going to want a white 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. Let's go ahead and cut this bottom strip too, because it's going to be 4 inches by 1 1/4. So we have this second half, just a hair over 4 by 1 1/4. So let's start right here. Okay, and then just line those up. Oh, is it raining, Christina? Or getting ready to? Oh my gosh, the other night, I'm telling you, the fireworks out here, that happened to me. I wasn't expecting them for the neighbors to start them, and it went off. Scared me, scared Charlotte. She went running. Oh my gosh. Bring that one just a little closer. Okay, that one now can go back into our sleeve. Okay, we are stuck somewhere. That doesn't make sense because it's not sticking on here. Maybe it is somewhere. Okay. So on the back side, let me come over here. So it's 1 inch. So I came in 1 inch from the right hand side. And then that gives room for our little teddy bear. Okay, and that one can go with the bees are going to be on the front. And Wilbur, did he take your ball? Oh, Wilbur brought a ball down and Homer took it from him. And there's our back. Hey, we are moving right along. So our next one, how's everybody doing? I know I've just kind of been intense working here, and so I haven't checked in on you guys. This one is page 10. This is our little cut apart we're going to use here inside. I just love that black plaid. And then the back side we have the acetate or acrylic or whatever everybody calls that one. So this, the black and white though, it comes from your 6x8 because they didn't do it on the 12x12. I don't think, did they? Oh yes, they did. Just a minute. No, we didn't get that one on the 12x12. Nope, it was on the back of here. So one of these is for the front, and we've already put that away. And we do need to cut this down. I think, oh no, we don't. We just need to clip the corners. Well, I'm usually a little bit slower too, but I have the benefit that I already made one. So that's not fair, I know, because I've already made it. So I'm kind of knowing where everything goes. But that's the nice thing about this being recorded. Then you can start and stop me all you want. Oh, we need to cover that hinge. Need to bring it up a little bit more. Our flap is, you know what, Tomalee, your granddaughter would look so cute in this. 5.5. And we're going to get our border strips out. Okay. Our border strips are on the bottom here. We're going to use the floral. Oh, that's why I like to do them live. Tian, I like to do them live, so if you guys do have questions, you know, I'm right here. Like I said, I say this quite often. I'm waiting for the day even YouTube will have where you guys can talk back. Not quite like Zoom. I'm hoping they come up with something better than Zoom. So 5.5. There's some things, just a hair over 5.5. There's some things I don't like about Zoom. And to do a tutorial on Zoom. So. Oh, she's a hot mess. Well, she's adorable, so she can be. So we're going to put this. And again, I want to put it just above where I've done the corners because I want to be able to cut it off. Because I like I mentioned, I make them a little, just a hair longer so that I can trim them instead of them being short. Here's my corner, so I'm just going to come, oops, above that. Oh, crap. Husband's going to mow the lawn, so that means tonight the beagle's feet will be green. Their paws turn green every time. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get our photo mat out and put it down there. And it is your 4 1/4 by 5 1/4. So your top piece is going to be 4 by 5. Now, if for some reason, depending on where you put that, you feel it's too big, or you maybe came up too high, you can trim these. No problem. My husband left to go get our granddaughter, who helps him with the yard because she likes to make money. So he leaves and she starts howling. So I'm really sorry, and I will really try to mute if she gets too loud. Whenever he leaves, that's what she does. I told him to take her with him. But he is just going up the street. You could even turn it. So just remember, you don't have to put it the same orientation if you are having your photo might be a different. So it'll go the other way too. We'll do those little photo mats inside here in a minute. But see, we're going to use the different colored background on that black. So we'll come back to that in just a second. Now we want the stripe. Just love the little flowers. I have to tell you, this thing just about killed my eyes working with it. You know, I'm trying to see something. The size of the stripes. Yeah, they're perfect. That's how I tell if it was the 6 by 8. Tomali, let me look. There had been one left. And I don't know if we put 2 on, and I don't know if it got snagged. So let me double check here for you. No, there is. I'm going to give you the link, Tomali, on Facebook. There is one left. So I'm hopping over here on Facebook. Okay. I just put it on Facebook for you. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled program, right? So we're going to cut this to fit here. And it measures, so it's going to be 5 3/8 by 6 7/8. 5 3/8 by 6 7/8. Now, I know, but the main thing is I like to make sure I at least keep 1 or 2 of my words. You have another sheet of this. Plus you still have, I think, 1 more in our other book, so it's okay. You can cut it. I gave you permission. So 6 7/8 is going to be our length. This is how I cut the other one too. So you can still use this little journal card. And you could even take some of the black and white and make yourself a cute little border here. But you can still use that as a journal spot. Oh, Peter Pan, thank you. So 5 3/8 and 6 7/8. Where's my punch? Here it is. Oh, those stripes, let me tell you, don't look too hard at them. Okay, now let's grab our 4x4 cut aparts that we already cut. Home is where your honeybee. And then we have, there it is. I used this grid side. So I want to cut this at 4 1/8 by 4 1/8. This here so you can see. We are going to pop this up on some foam. And if you have the kit, then you have your foam in there, but you'll still need more. Now I'm going to trim this just a little bit. I want more of the black to show. I mean, I'm just taking a tiny bit off of the left and right hand side. Let me double check the top and bottom. Yeah, I'm going to take a little off the bottom. I'm going to leave the top alone because I don't want to cut his little antennas off. And down that will go. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put this down, but you want to get out your foam squares, because you have foam squares in your kit. I have some of these. I'm just going to use my strips. Whoops. Oh, that fits really well. I'll just put another one in the center because that's quicker. Let's see if I have another one. I have one more. So if you'll have the squares in your kit. You might have these in your stash, but you can put your squares all the way around. This is just, I thought would be quicker. But I'm going to start putting these in our kits, so you don't have to mess with just the squares for the bigger things. Okay. Now the inside little guys. So what I did is I cut 3x3s, and we're going to use kind of the turquoise blue. Let me see. They don't have a name on it, I don't think, on your petite print, but it's the one with the polka dot. Oh yeah, it's called Pistachio. And we want 2 3x3s. Then we're going to cut. You should have this exact same piece if you've been cutting along with me. I'm going to cut a 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. And then we need a white 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. And we're going to take this strip and we're going to cut a 1/2 inch. So we're still working from this piece. And it's going to be 1/2 of an inch by 8. Turn him over and we'll start with the white. And this little one will go right on top there. You can still put your 2 1/2 inch picture. Super cute. To have that for a background. Or you can just leave it. All right, let's start with our 1/2 inch here. And we're going to set that 1 inch from the edge of our black matting. So I just lay it down and see where it lands on my stripes. So for me, I go by the dark ones. 1, 2 1/2. And then I don't have to worry too much about marking it, and the squares and circles are so helpful. Okay, place your squares. About 3/4 of an inch to an inch from the top. And then the same with the bottom. Oh, goodness, there we go. Okay, now we can turn that over. Yellow. So we're going to get the lighter yellow. And again, like I'd mentioned, some of these just look, it's hard to tell. They look a little different. But we're going to cut this. It should already be 6. We're going to cut this at 8. I'm just cutting that 4 inches off. And go ahead and cut your corners if you need to. I want the more textured on the outside. Thing is to get it pretty much symmetrical on your border. There you go, on the outside. Now we're going to cut the belly band, and we'll put the cardstock on, but I won't cut the acrylic piece until we cut those cute little, we have 3 mats that go in the pockets, and then we'll cut those all together and put them together. Probably Saturday when we're doing the decorating. So we're going to get the green out, and it's going to be 2 inches by 8 inches. And it's the textured cardstock again. And it's going to be the lighter green. You've got a dark green and a light green. It's 2 inches. That even looks a little brighter. It's got to be the lighting that's just throwing me off. Oh, Lordy. I hope these dogs don't come running down here. I'm so sorry if they do. They get so excited when anybody's here. And then, okay, we already cut our little bees. Let's go over here into this pile. So I'm going to cut a 1 7/8 by 7 7/8. And I wish they'd mow in the front yard first, because I hope we don't hear it. Let me take a little more off. My goal was to get us through page 10, and I think, oh my gosh, is this page 10? We may go to 11, because tomorrow night we're going to do, hopefully we'll get through all those pages, but so Saturday we can decorate. Oh, thank you. Okay, now the thing is, we do want to place this over far enough, because see, we have the acrylic piece there, and so you want to bring it in 1 1 1/8 at least, or 1 1/4 is good too. So I'll just leave my ruler here for that reason. And all we want to do is add our adhesive to the top, to the bottom. And I'm doing mine at 1 1/4 inch from the edge where the holes are. I need to make my tag for here too. That's the reason the yellow background, because I was going to mat it with the cardstock and the background. So I need to still make my 5x7 tag. I'll make that with you guys. So that was, oh cool, that was page 10. Well, let's go ahead and let's do page 11. And then we will be really in a good place for tomorrow. So page 11 is another double. Oh, that's where that, okay, it's another double because of the graphics on the other side. And if you end up, so if you end up cutting your 12 by 12s and say you want to save these, well, just remember you still have your 6x8 album, but that's okay. I mean, you'll be able to make it work if you cut into your 12 by 12s instead of these. Just so, I just want to let you know that it won't be the end of the world if you decide to use your 12 by 12. So you want that one. Like I said, we used this whole paper pad and this last one. No, so no, that's not the one. Hold that thought here. Maybe that one is the 12 by 12. Oh, it's got to be. Okay. This one is the 12 by 12. No, it can't be. Okay, let's dig through our papers here and see what I've done. I didn't remember seeing that pattern on the 12 by 12. You guys, we didn't use that. We didn't use both of those, did we? Okay, I know we didn't use both of those. From our 6x8. Okay, let's hold the fort for just a moment. Let's take a peek. No, we didn't. So that should have been, so we're looking for that little floral print, which is this one right here. Sorry to do this to you guys on camera, but I need to look. I mean, and we were really good about putting things back the way they belong. Okay. Now we cut into one of them. My little doodle pops. So, well, we're going to have to do a design change real quick. If you haven't cut into yours, I just don't remember us cutting both of those. So let me take one more look, okay? Because that's one of the sheets that they did not put in the 12 by 12. Well, it's not here, so I must have cut into both of them. So if you are there, I don't know how we cut into them, but that's okay because you don't see a lot of it, and I will pick out another one. Okay, well, I'm just going to go ahead with the green then, and I'll do everything exactly the same, but the background on this will have to be green for my 12 by 12. And again, it's going in the pocket, so I just went a hair over, just a hair over 8. All right, let me get back. So this is going to be our page 11. This will be the front, and that will be the back. Okay. Well, that was really odd. But you know what? We can actually, if you want that, you'll have this 4 by 6 piece. And then we'll cut from the yellow polka dots, which is your, it would just change the sizes a little bit. So my yellow is going to be 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, and that's our petites. And I think, no, it's the light, there's a lighter one. So I'm kind of finding out that some of these, like we talked about, they're varying in color. And they're hiding from me. Okay, for those of you working up with me, have you found your yellow one? It's a light yellow and polka dots. So it should be about this color yellow, and it came in your petite prints. And you know what? I kept everything together, absolutely everything together. And it's right here. Goodness, in front of me. It's your yellow stripe. I wasn't looking for the stripes. Okay, 4 1/4. Remember, Monday will be 2 weeks that I've been home, and I should be 100% normal then. The other day I was at 80. I'm at 90 today. So vacations are rough. So we're going to want a 4 by 6. So this is where I might have to do some trimming. If you decide, same with you. If you decide you want to have this, which was supposed to be our original paper, and I don't know where it is. And triple mat it. Or if you just want the floral and the white, we'll have to trim down the white. Or you just want to leave the yellow and the green. So I think I am just going to leave the yellow and the green. We'll have our little flag here, our little border at the bottom, and the green looks just as nice. So like I said, we used the green and yellow flowers on page 4. On page 4? On page 4 is this one. Yeah, well, no, oh, yeah, but there's supposed to be 2 sheets of this. So that was good, Tiana. Yeah, we did, but we should have had, we do have. I just don't know where mine is or what I did. Because I don't recall that we cut, then we cut the second one for tags. Well, I don't know where I got this one then. We're going to call it one of those happy mistakes. Now, the only other option is you can take this other half, which I have, if you like, and you can definitely add it to the bottom. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know. When I cut those tags, one of the tags should have probably been cut from the 12 by 12. But this looks good too. Okay, now this I left about 1/4 of an inch border on the left and the top. So we wanted enough room. And I promise we're just going to finish this page up front and back, and then you guys get the rest of the night to yourself. So it's 1 1/4, and we're going to cut it by 6. And you should have some scraps because we've cut into this twice, I believe. Now, if I end up finding that little guy, that will be crazy. So it's the butterfly, and not the butterflies. What am I saying? Butterflies. It's this one. There it is. And you know, mine's not quite 6. It's a little short of 6, and that's okay. So my piece here, so mine comes out to 5 3/8, which is just fine. Because we have this little honeycomb that will be sitting there when we do our decorating. And I'm just going to cut, so anywhere between 5 3/8 and 6 inches. Depending on your piece that you have for a scrap. Now, when it comes to these things too, you can wait. If you want to wait till you're all finished to go back and cut the decorative pieces. Because we do have another sheet of this, and we will want to cut a 1 inch by 6 inch. So we can do a border punch when we're decorating. So that one I'll wait and put on. Okay. So we kind of got a dilemma here. So 2 things. If you ended up having to use this because of my mess up, you actually can use this side if you want and kind of reverse it and put the stripe across here, unless if you don't want to use another full sheet of paper. So I want to give you that option. You can decide. If you had to do like I did, then you've already got a beautiful piece here, and then you can use this across the center. But I'll stick with the plan and not mess it up anymore. And this one is from your 6x8 pad because of the smaller stripes. So what we want is from our yellow polka dots. Not yellow, it's yellow with the black polka dots. So we're going to need to get out that piece. And it's on the back of this sled. Yes, creative opportunity. Now you have choices. That way you got choices. We're going to cut, first of all, we need a strip that's going to be 2 1/4 wide by 6. And then our photo mat is 3.5 by 5. So we're going to cut our 3.5 first. By 5, because now we only need a 6-inch that's 2 1/4. Then we're not, having this chunked up piece and then a strip, because we don't want to do that. So this is 3.5 by 5. So hopefully we cut the white, and if not, we'll just cut a piece, because it'll be 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. And one thing we haven't used is our white textured, so we can use that. But I gave you guys lots of white. I'm going to cut a 3 1/4 first, and then 4 3/4. We'll hang on to that, and then we're going to cut our next strip of our little flowers here. And that one's coming, oh, this paper's so cute, from our little bees. And I believe this is going to be 2. So our first cut's going to be 2 inches. And then 5 7/8. Okay, let's do our photo mat first. We want to make sure we have room. So 3 1/4 by 4 3/4, and 3.5 by 5 is the yellow. Oh, we can go ahead and put our little decorative band together. This isn't a belly band. It was just a decorative to break up that yellow stripe. Hi, Sandy. Okay. When we do our little sun, he's not stuck under there. Just, we're going to cut him off and he'll sit on top of there. So you don't have to worry about putting down your band first, but we want to have room for our photo mat. And the photo mat's about a 1/2 inch from the bottom of our paper. Okay. Between the photo mat, the yellow, and that one, our little decorative, is about 1/2 inch. So right there. Okay. Go ahead and slide that in. And that's where we will quit for the evening. Let me go ahead and pop this one in. See, these actually go by pretty fast once we start working. So tomorrow night, 5:30, let's double check something. There's 12, 13, 14. Well, we're going to get through it tomorrow night. 3:11. The whole goal is I wanted to get through this. Oh yeah, we'll get through tomorrow night. So Saturday we can just, when I go live later in the afternoon, I'll have to give you guys the time. I'm not really sure. We have to go get some cowboy boots for a granddaughter. And we want to just work on decorating on Saturday and our cover. So we should be able to buzz right through here tomorrow night. I know you guys are like, yeah, you say that now. So we have 20 pages. This was that extra that I told you about. So usually my books wouldn't have this. These two would have come out. But so just to let you know, because these were extras and it was made after I did the chipboard album. So I kind of used what was my scraps, but I'm going to still make it this way because I knew those were left over. But that is where I'm going to leave you guys tonight so you can get caught up. And so Saturday we can just get our cover created, make our little bullet points, and then you guys will be all set with another album to fill up with your fun summer photos. So guys, I'll see you tomorrow night then, 5:30 again. And in the meantime, the video will record. And so if you're new here, you can go back and also start and stop it. You'll be able to rewatch. And then I'm putting everything in the playlist on my YouTube. So you can just hit the playlist and watch all the videos that we've done so far. Have a great night. Bye-bye.